Hello everyone, good afternoon. Thank you for being here for the presentation today. Myself Rupchan from EY, presenting here on the topic of what consulting actually is. So the agenda is quite simple. We will have a quick overview on what EY is doing and how we are positioned globally. And then we will have a quick look how a consultant lifestyle looks like. And then we will see how is that something is helpful for you. So, really? Okay. Is this working now? Okay. Perfect. Sorry for that then. I will start once again. Thanks for indicating it. Perfect. So then once again, everyone, good afternoon. Thank you for being here for the presentation today. Myself, Rupchan from EY, as a consultant from Product Lifecycle Management, presenting here on the topic of what consulting actually is. So the agenda is quite simple. We will go through a quick overview on what EY is doing and how a typical consultant weekly schedule or daily schedule looks like and how we operate in a real life project. At the end, we will see, is this something what you will all be interested to doing in the future? If everything is clear, then let's get started. So as EY, we are truly a global organization with more than 400,000 people across 150 countries, generating a revenue of 53.2 billion USD. Also in Germany, we are quite strongly present with more than 10,000 employees across 18 locations. So what does this actually mean to you is that you don't just work locally, you get exposure to different clients, different industries, and also get chance to work with international teams. So if this is something already what you're looking for, then you're at the right place. Now, before jumping into what consulting actually is, can I just ask you a quick question? How many of you already aware what consulting actually is and how does the life of a consultant looks like? Can you just raise your hands? Perfect. Then you guys are at the right place, because you could see me here on the left side, also an alumnus from TU Berlin. When I started in 2022, my master's in TU Berlin, I literally had no idea about consulting. So nothing to worry, you guys still are in the process and at the right place to learn about it. So I did my bachelor's from India in the field of mechanical engineering and then moved to Germany for my master's in 2022 in the field of global production engineering. During the course of time with EY, I realized consulting is actually about learning things faster and at the same time applying it to the real life problems. So in EY, we have a strong presence in consulting as well. We have more than 1,600 employees, creating more than 655 million euros in the revenue. The topics what we operate are usually streamlined into 4 areas. The first thing is business consulting, followed by we also have tech consulting, people consulting, and also risk consulting. So you could see already the few of the activities what we perform. For example, in business consulting, we focus on one of the topics like supply chain and operations, where we help the clients to transform their supply chain into real competitive advantage. I believe you guys can read the screen. Hope it's clear. Okay. Because I could see people like still nodding that with the sunlight they are having some difficulty to read it, but I believe it's not the case. And for tech consulting, we could already see that we have clients who we will help them to transform and support them with powerful IT solutions. And as I said earlier, we also have risk consulting and also people consulting, focusing on different topics like HR transformation or other areas. But what does this really mean to you is that at EY, you get the chance to help the companies to transform their processes, improve their performance, build digital IT systems, and also help them thrive this competitive world. So this is what at EY in consulting we look for. And at the very high level, what consulting actually means in the real life for the clients is to solve the business and the technical problems. So whenever my friends ask about what I really do in my day-to-day life, I just point them to these 4 topics. So first thing is to solve the client problems. So we help them, either it could be a problem in business or in technical side or in their organization. So we help them in solving those critical problems through having regular meetings with them. So what we call is like working in teams. So we work both internally and also externally with the clients and also their partners to better understand what is the real world problem they have with their current situation. So once you understand the problem, then it's very easy and straightforward to combine it with the analysis and communicate it clearly to the clients so that you are helping them to make sure they are overcoming their obstacle. With these 3 steps, you help them to drive the transformation. And that's what consulting in a nutshell looks like. If you already have a clear idea now, consulting, what we are going to do with the clients, let me take you through a real life example to better understand how we operate in this area of consulting. So in this slide, you could already see there are 3 circles, what we call the approach or the methodology for our consulting projects. So we call this methodology as transformation realized. For any clients, any industry, or any company, whenever they go through transformation, it's important they tackle these 3 problems. 1, the humans are at the center. For any organization, it's always important that you onboard the people through your transformation journey. So that's how we see that humans at center. Next follows the technology at speed. Whenever there is new technology arising in the market, it's important that the clients are onboarded and up to date with the technological advancement for their transformation process. And lastly, we also have innovation at scale. It's important that you start the innovation at a pilot level, but also very important that you scale it across the organization. So these 3 things, people, process, and technology, are the core of any transformation project where EY is operating. So apart from theory, let me take into a real practical example of how this transformation looks like. I mean, you could see already a timeline with 3 different phases, how we operate. It's a kind of an indicative thing how we and consulting companies support the clients in creating impact. But I would be happy to walk you through a real life example. So for example, we had a client who wanted to transform their manufacturing process by selecting a new MES solution. So for people who are not sure about MES, it's Manufacturing Execution System. The system used to maintain, monitor, and organize your manufacturing process in your shop floor. So for this client, they are currently a paper-based manufacturing. That is, they are still using their papers to maintain and control their manufacturing. So if there is a defect, they just write it in the paper, pass it to the production, and then the next team takes it over, which is kind of hard to track and document. So they want to select this MES solution. So as EY, we support them in this process by better understanding their real requirement at the shop floor level. Because this client has 7 different sites of operation, and each site will have different documentation methodology as the regional requirement fits. So it's important that we understand the common requirements and also the unique requirement that differs between each site. So with this set of requirements, we create this requirement catalog, and on the other side, we look out for the systems that are the MES solution providers in the market who are the best fit for these requirements and bring them together to the table to find the best solution fit for our clients. And until now, we have just seen the first part of the transformation process. Then involves the selection, the pilot of the software, and then you ramp it up across your production facilities. This is an end-to-end transformation process, and EY, as an orchestrator, plays a critical role in making sure these transformation happens seamlessly. Until now, I have shown you how the projects works, either weeks or for months and so on. But it's important that for you to look for in the presentation today that how a week in a consulting looks like, right? So then I have this slide for you where I kind of like try to drill down most of the points, but I mean, kind of quiet disclaimer is that it's not going to be every week the same concept. A week might be different to the other week. But at the very high level, what we do is start with the aligning. So we align internally and externally for the priorities of the clients. We understand the expectation from the clients, what they need. Based on the alignment, we start the next step. That's the building. We kind of create the solution for them. Either it could be a PowerPoint slide, or it could be a matrix in the Excel, or whatever we take. Once we have built it, then we go to the next stage of understanding. Now we sit together with the clients. Either it could be a workshop or interview. We find the gaps, understand their processes, understand their products, and see how we can improvise that. And then we go into the stage of communication, where we communicate to the steering board or to the next level of updates based on the feedback what we have received earlier. All these things happen in a different phases through the week. At the end, it's very important that you analyze them. What are the learnings, how you have tackled the points, and you document the analysis, which will be the input for the next phase of actions in the weeks coming forward. So for people who have already seen, this is something which fits your lifestyle. I think you are almost there to enter into consulting. I just have one more slide to make it very clear what kind of candidature we are looking at EY to enter this consulting. For anyone, it's not about the skill. It's beyond it. It's the mindset of the future what we are looking at EY. First thing is you are already innovative. That is thinking ahead of the curve. You are staying in front of the market and making sure how you can adapt your technical skill set or the business skill set or the specialty where you come from in the field that you stay ahead of the market curve. The second thing is you are analytical. That is you are understanding the problem. You are making sure how you can break the problem into smaller sections and approach them in a structured way. And finally, you also have the global mindset. That is, you are ready to operate in teams across regions and also open to learning through the process. So that's what is very important for any mindset that helps you to create the character what we see for any candidature applying for EY. And also it's important that you have the mindset to make an impact, build lasting relationship, and also it's important that you do the right thing with the decision to make it right and perfect. So that is the mindset we see from our candidature who are applying to EY. So I believe now you are pretty clear and close that if consulting is a fit or not for you. For people who still are not clear which area of consulting you need to operate, then we have the job matcher application. By scanning the first QR code at the top, you will get access to the application where you will have around about 24 to 25 questions, which will help you to answer based on your likes and dislikes, whether like based on a day-to-day activity, it could be something like your information on a project set. All different kind of questions will be placed there. So when you try to answer them at the end, you will figure out where do you see yourself. Because at the start, I mentioned already that in consulting, we have 4 different categories: business, technology, people, and risk. Apart from consulting, we also have more offerings like tax, assurance, and audit. It's important that we figure out where do you see and fit yourself to find which role you apply. So once you have identified that, okay, this is the role I'm going to start looking for, then I would ask you to scan the second QR code, which is for our talent community. So once you are part of this talent community, we keep you regularly updated about all the new job postings, the events and webinars and fairs wherever EY is participating, and also a lot more information to EY. So once you have identified that role which you are going to apply and you have the up-to-date information about what you want to do, then the process is pretty simple. You start your application through the EY job portal. EY internally reviews the documentation. Once we find that you are a potential candidate for the role, we will call you for an interview. Then when both the parties are happy with your candidature, then we will send you the offer and the contract. And yeah, you'll be at the EY office for your first day. Hope this could be something what you would be interested in doing in the future, and wish you all the best for pursuing a successful career in consulting. Happy to take your question. Thank you.